I did a video on the best value for every single attribute in NBA 2K25. This video, I'm doing the best value for every single badge in NBA 2K25. Of course, if you could get every badge on Legend, that would be dope. But is the difference between Bronze to Legend really that big? Is it worth putting all those attributes into your three-pointer or your mid-range just to get it a couple tiers higher? The thing is, it probably isn't. Very few of this video is my opinion. We're actually using information and data from 2K Labs while also having gameplay experience to give you guys a breakdown of what tiers are the best for every single badge in the game. Let's do it. ¿Qué pasa to the pack? It is Pack here. If you like my content when it comes to NBA 2K25 and builds and help, please join the pack and subscribe. Okay, let's go. We're starting off with the bronze badges. The highest value for bailout is bronze. You cannot do bailout passes without bailout on bronze. That's how important this badge is. You'll notice a lot of higher level players, guys that play Pro-Am and Proving Grounds, they use bailout all the time because being able to pass out of a bad shot is such a good thing to have in this game. To get bailout on bronze, you need an 85 pass accuracy, which is already really high. Now, because this badge is so expensive, the only one I feel like is worth it is bronze. The difference between bronze and none is night and day. When you look at clean catch percentage after a pass with bailout, it goes from 4% with no badge to 40% on bronze. Nothing else has that kind of jump. To give you an example, from bronze to legend, it's another 40%, right? So just getting it on bronze is a massive difference. Now, legend at 78% is really good, but you need an insane pass accuracy rating just to get legend. I just think it's not worth it. Bronze is good enough. Hey, we're doing a giveaway if you want to win 75,000 VC. I'm picking one lucky winner. All you have to do is follow us and also comment done in the comments. And I'm picking a winner this Friday. I'll make sure to reply to your done message to let you know if you won. We are now on silver badges, and the next badge is Ankle Assassin. So this one is complicated. Yes, on Legend, you will get a lot of breaks with Ankle Assassin, but here's the thing. Most people try to hit 86 overall ball handle because they're trying to get the Darius Garland animations, and that automatically comes with silver. In terms of value, it makes the most sense. The next silver badge is Versatile Visionary. You do want to get it on silver. So for this badge, it's specifically about flashy passes, alley-oops, and then tight passes. That's the last one that you're going to care about when you're playing again in Pro-Am, in Proving Grounds. You notice that people get passing lane steals all the time, and you need a badge that's going to stop that from happening. Versatile Visionary on silver is the best. You do see the biggest increase on silver. This is from 2K Toots. My only worry is that it is an 89 overall to get it on silver, which is a very high rating. But if you're going to be the playmaker on your team that is trying to orchestrate the offense in a 5v5 setting, you kind of need it. I'd even argue that maybe bigs need it on silver as well because if they're doing like fast break passes or quick passes. If you're the playmaker, you need it. Now we are on the gold badges. For this one, you're going to do handles for days on gold. So here's the thing. If you're someone that's solely an ISO player that has the ball in their hand the whole time, Legend is probably better for you, but that's very rare amount of players. For the guys that are the point guard on the team that's going to make a couple plays happen in a pick and roll situation, you really don't need anything past gold, especially because you're going to be getting your Gatorade. It just carries it way more than the badge itself. I think if you have your Gatorade, your workout, and also have this badge on gold, it's enough. You're really rarely going to run out of stamina unless you're really holding the ball. Besides Legend, the second biggest increase is on gold. And although handles for days on gold is a 90 overall, you can have an 81 rating in your ball handle and max +1 it to get it on gold, and you'd be fine. So no matter what, regardless of what kind of playstyle you have, you can get it on gold and it's going to be great. This one is really important. Unpluckable. You have to get it on gold. Silver is so bad. Take it from me, who has a ball in my hand most of the time, and I have unpluckable only on silver. I get plucked all the time. So if you have no unpluckable, the pluck rate is 40%. If you have it on gold, it goes down to 12%. From 40 to 12 is a pretty big difference. That's enough that you're still gonna get cheese from here and there, but it's not gonna be very, very bad happening all the time. And the guy that needs to be guarding you would have to have glove on legend. And unpluckable on Hall of Fame and legend is only a 1% difference. It's way too expensive to get it. It's not worth it. You can get unpluckable on silver at an 86 ball handle and then max +1 it and you would have it on gold. So no matter what, you can't get it on gold. This badge, you kind of need it on gold. The next badge on gold is Dimer. This is a badge that relates to everybody, not just the point guard. So Dimer increases very, very little make percentage for your teammates. The difference between not having it and having it on bronze is only 2%. The difference between nothing and legend is 9%, right? So helping your teammates shoot 9% better isn't like that dramatically better, but in a game that's filled with RNG and the best players in the world are shooting only 60% from 3, any percentage helps. Now for gold, you would get 5% increase, which I think 5% helping your teammates screen window is pretty big. And this badge is almost always a tier 2 badge. So you can have a 71 pass accuracy and then +1 it on tier 2 and you're gonna get it on gold, which is even better. So super cheap and it's very helpful. Now, if you were a very, very competitive team that wanted the best percentages possible, yes, get it on legend, but I'm assuming a very few of you have your pass accuracy on 99. So I think gold is the sweet spot. Now for the bigs, we have break starter and this needs to be on gold. So silver is hella cheap to get with only a 75 pass accuracy, which I'm assuming most centers don't want to get anything more than that because you want to use it for rebounding and finishing, like I understand. But in my opinion, when they have it on silver, it's just too sloppy. You don't get the catches you want. I only see it at least semi-consistently on gold. The difference between silver and gold is a 7% increase, which is the biggest increase for this badge. Hall of Fame and legend are great, but it's very, very expensive to get a 93 pass accuracy for Hall of Fame. That's way too much. You can get this badge on silver at a 75 pass accuracy and then max +1 it to get it on gold and have super consistent, crispy, full court passes in transition. Now we're going to the Hall of Fame badges. There's only one, and that is strong handle. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. This is universally agreed the best one. Here's a graph from 2K Labs that shows you the difference between gold and Hall of Fame is 17 points on their metric system. Nothing else even comes close to that. And the biggest thing about it is it's very, very cheap. You only need a 77 ball handle, which all of you are going to have, and then 85 strength. And strength is super cheap this year. This badge is low-key good, and you can get it on Hall of Fame very easily. Just get it. And finally, the only legend badge is Lightning Launch. This badge is very, very popular on the Pro-Am and Proving Ground community. The better players in the world use this badge on legend. Any kind of advantage on getting yourself some open space is going to help you in this game, especially against better players. It's low-key cheap to get on legend. You don't need a 99. You need a 94 speed ball to get on legend. You can even get a 91 speed ball and then max +1 it to legend. Now, a lot of you guys are going to get 86 overall ball handle at least because you want the Darius Garland animations. Regardless, you guys are already going to have it high. So if you have it at 86, just put 5 points more to get it on 91 and then do max +1 and you have Lightning Launch on legend, which is one of the most used and competitive badges in the game. So it's easy to get and it works really well. You do see the biggest increase between any of the badges on legend according to 2K Toots. It's worth it, man. Just get the badge. We are now on the defensive badges and we're starting off with the bronze ones. The first up is Challenger. Challenger's best value is by far on bronze. This badge was universally agreed. It's a bad badge this year. In fact, according to 2K Toots, there is no difference in range of contest between no badge at all and legend. But having it on bronze is still better than not having it at all. Bronze is the best, and it's only a 71 perimeter D need to get. Now we're already on to silver badges for defense. Up first is off-ball pest on silver is absolutely critical. According to the point system, you saw the biggest increase in bumps with off-ball pest on silver. If you're somebody that's trying to stop someone cutting back door, you're gonna need this at least on silver so they're not glitching around you, catching lobs. And again, it's cheap, only a 68 perimeter D or a 76 interior D. It's a very good badge. Up next, a super underrated badge, Immovable Enforcer on silver. This badge is very, very good. It not only helps you on the perimeter, it also helps you under the basket. The absolute biggest increase we saw was on silver. And on top of that, it's actually kind of easy to get on silver because usually this badge is a tier 2 badge and it only takes a 62 perimeter D and a 71 strength to get it on bronze. And then you can max +1 it for your tier 2 and you can get on silver pretty easily. It doesn't matter what kind of defender you are. Honestly, everyone needs this badge, at least on silver. Up next, we have the gold badges. Up first, we have glove. Glove is a badge that you only see even really activated ever on gold. So anything before gold is just straight up trash. Actually, 2K Toots confirms that. I can tell you right now that I don't see any activations of on-ball steals unless I have it at least on gold. And really, I don't see anything till legend. But at least on gold, I see it sometimes. And gold isn't that expensive rating-wise. That's why I do recommend gold as probably the best value. The exact same thing goes with its sister badge, and that is interceptor, also on gold. Anything before gold, it will make me... When I time a steal perfectly and I don't get it because I had it on silver, just get it on gold, man. I'd even argue with the interceptor. There's no point even trying to get it unless you can get it on gold. If you have a long wingspan, it's very, very broken. One of the better badges in the game, in my opinion. You could even get it on silver and then max +1 it if you wanted to. It's a very good badge on gold. Up next, we have on-ball menace. Now, in terms of my personal experience, I didn't see massive differences. I've used all of them and I don't see massive differences in any of them, if I'm just being real. But in terms of testing, Giants fan did do some testing and did see that the biggest value increase was on gold. So I can see why he thinks gold is probably the best. Gold makes the most sense if you're a lock. For paint controller, absolutely gold. You will get dunked on. You won't get the stops you need unless you have paint controller on gold at least. Again, this is one of those badges where you can get it on silver and then max +1 into gold very easily. It's a tier 2 badge for a lot of builds, especially big builds, which is crazy. A must grab on gold if you're a big. So post move lockdown was decided that gold is probably the best. Again, Giants fans saw that the most consistent stops were on gold or legend. However, it's very expensive to get it on legend. It's not that expensive to get on gold. If you are someone that has to stop someone that's posting up, right? If someone's going to be doing drop steps, standing dunks, you're going to need to get it on gold if that's your entire build, is to stop those players. Up next, we have pogo stick, which was also viewed to be gold. In fact, there was no difference between gold and legend in amount of jumps per shot clock. I do think that gold is probably the best call for pogo stick. Up next, we have high flying denier, a very, very good badge. Two different ones are good. Gold and legend were very good, but anything under gold was bad. If you want to get not only in front of basket blocks, but the biggest one is chase down blocks, you will not get any of those unless you have it on gold. Now, legend is still very good, but it's very expensive. A lot of you can realistically get it on gold. Just get it on gold. It's better value for bang for your buck. Up next, we are now on the Hall of Fame badges, and the first up is Pick Dodger. Pick Dodger on Hall of Fame is the best. Screens this year are broken, and if you're going to be the lock that's trying to stop somebody that's doing screenplay, you need to have it on Hall of Fame. It saw the most points increase by Giants fan. It is expensive to get, but again, if you're the lock, you have to get this. Brick wall is the exact same thing. You need to be able to set really hard screens, especially because the badge is so broken this year. We did see the Hall of Fame had the most amount of hits. Even with legendary Pick Dodger, brick wall is that good. Get on Hall of Fame. If you're going to be the center that's screening for your guard, you need it on Hall of Fame. Up next, we have Box Out Beast. That is also going to be a Hall of Fame badge. The difference between Hall of Fame and legend just wasn't big enough, if we're just being honest. Where as long as you're positioning your player correctly, which is going to be way more important, Hall of Fame is going to be perfect enough. The only legend defensive badge is going to be Rebound Chaser straight up. Rebound Chaser is obviously going to be a legend badge. This is one of the most important badges in this game. If you're a big, you need to grab the rebounds. It doesn't matter if your vertical's high and your positioning is right. If you don't have Rebound Chaser on legend, you will lose out on some of these rebound battles, especially with somebody that has offensive rebound at 99. You need Rebound Chaser on legend if that's your position. First up, we're going to do probably one of the most popular badges this year is Shippy Shooter. This one's tough. According to the data, Shifty Shooter on silver sees the biggest increase because this one's actually very specific. For 3-point shots, for example, if you wanted to get a pure green window with Shifty Shooter, you need to have it at minimum on silver. Anything under silver, and you don't get a pure green window anymore, okay? But in terms of consistency in this game, I would say Legend. Legend gives you a huge boost in make percentage. It makes every single midi super easy to make too. I'm gonna be honest with you, I abuse the mid-range fades in this game because they're free with Shifty Shooter on Legend. Again, I know not everybody can get it on Legend, so that's why I really recommend it getting on silver, and you only need an 87 midi or an 87.3 to get it on silver. In fact, you can get it a 76 midi on bronze and then just do a max +1 and get it so you can hit contested fading mids consistently. This badge is crazy. Getting it on silver is the answer, but I would absolutely get it on Legend if you can. Up next, we have Mini Marksman. Now, this badge pops up a lot if you're the guard. I think this badge is just very few players even get it because of the height requirements. It activates on very few defenders because most people are guarding you are not that tall. So unless you're, using screens and have a center closing out, and on top of it all, Deadeye also does the same thing for all situations. So like you already have Deadeye, that's already the important one. Like if I had to choose between +1ing Mini Marksman and Deadeye, I'm gonna +1 Deadeye every single time because there's just way more situations where you're gonna be using Deadeye. I don't know, I'm indifferent about the shot. I think gold is fine. The biggest increase you see off badge tiers is gold with about a 7% increase. I think Mini Marksman on gold is just fine. We're gonna do Slithery Off Ball. So Slithery Off Ball isn't a shooting badge, but technically this badge isn't in any category. This is one of the only badges in the game that doesn't belong to anybody. But I would argue this is 100% a shooting badge because how you play in NBA 2K25 and the way people are moving off ball and getting open because of dexing, this is a shooting badge. This badge is broken, and the best part about it is it's usually a tier 2 badge. So a lot of guards and even wings are kicking it to their center and then just moving around back and forth, dexing with double tapping R2, and boom, they teleport to the 3-point line. The center gives them the ball. It's just an open 3 every single time. A lot of people's buckets is coming from off ball situations. This badge is insane. Right now, if you have it anything under Hall of Fame as the point guard, I think that's a mistake. You have to have it really high. So I have it on gold, but whenever I get my max +1 for tier 2, I always put it on Slippery Off Ball because it just gets you wide open. Even on Legend, it's crazy, but I didn't see a major difference between Legend and Hall of Fame. The next shooting badge we're going to talk about is Deadeye, one of the oldest badges in 2K history. If you're a competitive player, this will always be a good badge because once you start playing better people, a lot of the shots you're going to shoot are going to be contested, at least slightly, and you need to be able to hit it anyways. In my honest opinion, the difference between Hall of Fame and Legend isn't big enough at all. If you're someone that's constantly shooting the ball and constantly moving around with screens, you need it on Hall of Fame. I saw its biggest increase there. In fact, the difference between Hall of Fame and Legend is basically non-existent. I would say Hall of Fame is the absolute best. Even though it does require a really high mid-range or 3-point shot, it's 100% worth it. That being said, if you're like, that's way too high or I'm a big, you should get it on bronze. The difference between having it on 0 and having it on bronze is insane. It's about a 15% increase. I'd even argue when you don't have Deadeye at all, it's almost impossible to hit a contested shot. But once you have it on bronze, it's at least an option to maybe hit it. I think it's a pretty big difference. So I think Hall of Fame is the best, but bronze is also an honorable mention here. Up next, I think this is the most controversial badge, the Limitless Range badge. I always felt with this badge that if you didn't have it on at least gold, don't even take the shots. Now, according to 2K Labs, the biggest increases you'll see is in Legend. So the answer for this is definitely Legend. If you want to be shooting beyond the 3-point line, you definitely want it on Legend. The annoying part about it is, at least with super deep threes, is that it's very inconsistent. You could honestly time it perfectly and you might not make it. That's why you want to have it on Legend because it'll make it as consistent as possible. On top of that, you see the increase on how much you get from Legend. It's probably the best Legend badge in the game because of how big of an increase you get, a whole 10%. But I personally think that gold is still pretty good because it creates it as an option, right? So like if you ever wanted to hit a deep 3 and you're wide open, you can make it. Anything under gold I think is impossible. And if you have takeover, it's a very consistent shot to shoot from deep with gold limitless. That's why I think this one is very, very tricky to give you an answer, because it'll never be 100% consistent with a pure green window, even with legend, right? It just doesn't have that option. But if you have takeover, even with a gold limitless, you're going to be pretty consistent with it. And so the only time I ever think you should be taking these shots is with takeover on a consistent basis. To me, the answer feels like it should be gold, but I know that with legend, even though you won't make it every single time, it is an option. Kind of the same thing with fading 3-point shots. Like, you're not going to make it every time, but it is an option. That's why legend is so good. So I think this is the answer. So legend is what the data says, and then I also think gold is an honorable mention for most players. Now for the best badge in the game, probably, or at least the most used badge in the game, is set shot specialist. You're not going to be surprised that the answer is legend, straight up. Now gold is obviously an honorable mention. Gold is very, very good, especially if you're a big. Gold is the difference between timing it perfectly and missing, and timing perfectly and making it. Get it gold if you have it on silver. But the increase in legend is just too high, up to 18% on make percentage for a legend set shot specialist. This is a no-brainer. If you want to shoot as consistent as possible in a game where it's RNG heavy, you want set shot specialist on legend. Use your max +1 to get it on legend. I made a build with the 98 midi just to get it on legend. It's worth it every time. Now we are on to the finishing badges. We're going to start off with the bronze ones, and that is layup mix master. And that doesn't mean that layups are bad this year. Layups are actually very good. It's just that the difference between no layup mix master and bronze is very high, and then the difference between bronze and like Hall of Fame isn't very high. Now legend is very, very good, but legend's a 99 rating, and you're not going to spend 99 points on your layups. Just get it on bronze and you're going to be good enough. Now we are on to the silver badges. The first up is float game. Oof, this badge sucks. But if you want to even be able to make one, you have to get it on silver. Now, legend again does improve the chance of making floaters, but it's still not good. So you'd rather at least get it on silver so that if you accidentally ever do a floater, you could make it. That's it. For physical finisher, it's also going to be silver. Hall of Fame is also very good, but again, it's expensive to get it that high with your driving layup. Silver is still good enough to make contested layups about half of the time. That is with real player percentage, but that's pretty good for having a badge only on silver. Up next, we have post fade phenom. That badge is also going to be on silver, because when you have this badge on silver, you finally get the pure green window on post fades. However, legend is also very, very good. The issue is it's very expensive to get it on legend. It's not that expensive to get on silver. It's only a 70 post control and a 71 midi to get it. I've played against a lot of guys that will do a bailout post fade and it works for them. I not only think silver is the best, I recommend any big try to get this on silver every time. We only have one gold badge, and that is going to be posterizer on gold. As somebody that does slash a lot, I can tell you right now that the difference between gold and silver is really high, and the difference between gold and Hall of Fame isn't that high. Posterizing this year is very frustrating for a lot of people. They feel the dunk meter is random. I do think a lot of it comes down to knowing when to go for posters. There's moments where I'm like, okay, this is going to be a contact poster situation. When I have it on gold, I almost always feel like it goes in. When I don't have it on gold, I have some misses where I feel like I should have made it. So gold is just a perfect one. And you're already trying to get a 93 overall dunk rating for the Russell Westbrook dunk package. Gold is perfect. Now we're at the Hall of Fame badges. Up first is Aerial Wizard. You kind of just end up getting Aerial Wizard on Hall of Fame anyways. If you are someone that's slashing a lot, you're already going to have a dunking rating that's going to match Hall of Fame. It's a super easy badge to get, and Hall of Fame did see the biggest increase. Just get on Hall of Fame. Kind of the same thing here with Rise Up. A lot of you are already trying to get a 95 dunk rating, standing dunk rating, to get contact posters under the basket. Your Rise Up is automatically going to be a Hall of Fame, and we did see the biggest increase on Hall of Fame. It just makes the most sense. Now we are on the legend badges. Up first is Hook Specialist. This might be weird for some of you because we all agree Hook Specialist is the worst badge in the game. Hooks don't work this year at all, right? But here's the thing, if you are going to be a back-to-basket player, which is the only people that are doing hook shots at all, you have to have it on legend or you will not make any. It's the only usable version is legend. You might make it half the time. Post-up powerhouse is the exact same thing. If you're going to be back-to-basket, the only one that even kind of works is legend. And if you're going to be spamming it, you need it on legend. And finally, the last one, same thing, post-up poet. They saw the biggest increase on legend. And again, same thing. If you're going to be backing people up, you need to have it on legend if that's your game, right? If you're going to be a specialist like that, you need to be perfect at it. That is every single badge in NBA 2K25 and the best value for them. This video took a long time, so I'd appreciate if you guys followed up because I'm going to be doing the same thing for NBA 2K26. I hope you guys look forward to that video. If you like this channel, please give it a sub. I'll see you guys next time.